Okay, so today we are going to be doing 1-point perspective. If you're sitting in a room right now, if you look up and directly straight at a wall, you'll notice that that wall has these lines that converge towards the wall that's furthest away from you, kind of like, kind of similar to this, where you see the back wall, you can see the ceiling, you can see both walls on the side, and then you can also see the floor. So 1-point perspective, what that teaches you is where exactly, when you place an object inside a room, what exactly are you looking at? Are you looking at it from the top down? Are you looking at it from the bottom up? Like, for example, if you have something up on the top, say like a light hanging from the ceiling, or maybe even a ceiling fan, from your perspective, how do you know whether or not you're looking at the top of the blades or the bottom of the blades when you're sitting on the floor or you're standing inside your room and there's a small little TV stand? Like how do you know whether or not you can see the top of your TV or the sides of your TV? If you have a couch like this up against the wall, how do you know that you're going to be able to see the cushions, or even part of the back of the couch, or where the armrest is going to be? How do you know what you're going to see? It actually has order, and this order is through your point or your perspective, your 1-point perspective or your point of view. So we're going to show you today how you're going to make it seem or appear like you're looking at something from your perspective, giving it a three-dimensional feel. So that's what today's lesson is going to be about. Alright, so follow along. Grab yourself a clean sheet of paper. Make sure you have your drawing or sketching utensil. I have my graphite. This one I'm using a 6B. That's what I had on hand. Usually I like to start off sketching with the 2B because it doesn't get so dark, but this is what I have with me right now. So the first step you want to do is you want to draw the horizon line, and the horizon line is basically the line that goes across your paper. And by the way, your paper is going to be in the format of landscape. This is portrait, and this is landscape. So you want to make sure your paper is this way because you can fit more onto the paper for now, just for now. Okay. So you're going to start off by drawing a horizon line. You can I like to start off in the middle when teaching. Just put a straight line from either side of the paper, going from left to right, and this here is going to be our horizon line. Okay. So this should be the sky. And this should be the ground, the earth, the whatever your subject is sitting on. Now what you can do with your pencil, then you're going to put a little mark, a 1 point, a 1 dot, right in the center of the paper there. You see that? Just one single solitary dot. Imagine you stand up, you walk outside, you look directly outside your house, and you see the horizon, where the sky is separated from the earth. It's just here, okay? And now the things that are going to be drawn up here, most of the times when you are putting objects above the horizon line, most times you're going to be able to see under it. Whereas if you put objects closer to the bottom part of your page, you're going to most likely see the top of whatever it is you're drawing. Unless it's really tall, then you're probably not going to be able to see the top of the object. Now at the end of the drawing, our horizon line may disappear altogether because our subject will be blocking it, or there may be bits and pieces missing because we'll have objects blocking here and there. But the idea is to learn what the horizon line does. Okay, so let me show you how to start with your 1 point. Might also be good if you have yourself a ruler on hand. Fortunately, I have this clear plastic straight edge. It's not super accurate, but it'll do the job for this particular exercise. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to start off by drawing a few shapes. I like squares because they're nice and simple. You can actually have any shape, circles, rectangles, but most likely they're going to be two-dimensional shapes. Okay, so we're going to start off with the two-dimensional shape above the line. So we're going to draw ourselves a square. We're going to draw that above the line. Okay, so I sketched out my square there. Then I'm going to draw another square. And if I go too fast, just pause the video, finish up what you're doing and move on to the next step. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to draw another square, and this one's just going to basically be sitting on top of the line, just like that. And then my final square I'm going to put below it, so I'm going to put it about here. And this is just for practice, yeah? We're just practicing how to use the 1-point perspective. Alright, now from this point, what we're going to do is, this is where this point comes into play, okay? This dot here. When you have yourselves a straight edge, you can use your eye too. I prefer just sketching lines by using your eye, but if you have to use a straight edge, that's fine too. But for the purpose of this exercise, you can understand what's going on at home through the this camera. I'm going to use a straight edge just so you guys can see better what exactly I'm doing, because a lot of times my hands will get in the way, so this is going to be easier for you to follow, okay? So anyway, these 3 corners here, you're going to be able to see the bottom and the side of this shape. So these 3 corners here are going to be very important for this shape. So starting from this bottom corner here, I'm going to place my ruler or my straight edge on top of the dot and on the tip of the edge, and I'm going to draw a line going straight to the dot, just like that. Okay, this edge here, you're going to put the straight edge or ruler against that edge, and you're going to line it up with the dot again here, and you're going to draw a line once again from the corner to the dot. Don't press hard, because if you press hard you won't be able to do any erasing. Okay, the final side here, take my straight edge, put it on there, line it up with the dot. See that? Okay, my hand's gonna block for a little while. Draw a straight line, and now it's gonna kind of look like this long rectangular prism just shooting from this point here. Okay? Kind of gives a 3-dimensional effect as if it's popping out, just whoo, rushing forward. Same thing I'm going to do with the one square on top of the horizon line as well as below the horizon line. Go ahead and copy that same thing we did with the lower one. So I'm going to have an edge here. It's going to go to the point here. See? Draw a line straight up. There you go. Now if you look at my edge here, it's kind of in line with the dot. So if I match up the dot to the corner like that, and I draw my line straight down, so if I were to actually use this edge here and draw a line, it wouldn't matter because it's actually lined up together. It's like, that's it, that's all I need to do. Because if there was an object, a rectangular object sitting down on the floor in front of me, and I was standing right at this perspective from the object, I would not be able to see either side nor the bottom of the object, only the top. Just as if this object existed in reality, I would only be able to see the bottom of the object as well as the side, but not the left side or the top. Now if you look at this shape here, I'm going to do the same thing, but there's no sense that I draw lines from this edge or this edge here, so I'm just going to do these two on the inside, because that's the only side of the object I'll be able to see. So I line up my straight edge with the edge of the square, draw a line there, see that? And then I'm going to go ahead and draw another one from the top, going to the dot, the point, just like that. What's the next step? Well, the next step is we want to trim down how big these objects are going to be. Now if I'm standing outside and I'm trying to place these objects with real world items, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, well this is something along the ground, so what travels along the ground? The best thing I can think of when doing 1-point perspective is transportation. So I like to make a ground transportation or some kind of thing off to the side, as well as maybe something traveling in through the air, you know, rather than looking like huge french fries or huge Jenga sticks coming at your face. So if you want to make like I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to make a bus, okay, because that's a nice rectangular shaped object. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end the bus where the rear of the bus is going to be. So I'm going to draw a line that mimics the same as the front line here, okay? So this is going to close off our shape. This becomes our shape. Now this line back here is no longer necessary. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase this line going to the point, because now the point has served its purpose. It's giving me the three-dimensional look of what could possibly be a bus. Okay, so this is going to be my bus. Now after that, I can start adding in some embellishments, a couple of rectangles to make a street light, headlights. Okay, maybe a sign going across here. Maybe I can write inside there its destination. Okay, put a couple of tires underneath, as well as maybe some kind of a protection like a bumper. 2 different wheels coming up. See that? It also has rear view mirrors. I'm going to have those sticking out from the sides, just like that. Our buses have numbers on them, so I'm going to put a number on top of our bus. Okay. So this number of this bus is going to be 63. See that? Alright. Steering wheel with a seat. We have the stairwell that comes in. I'm just drawing embellishments on the inside of the bus. It's not anything important, but it's fun. It's good stuff. Our bus is traveling on a white line. A white plane. So we want to add some road. So what we can do is, right next to the tire where the bus would be sitting, we're going to put the straight edge on the point, as well as the straight edge along the side of the bus. And I'm going to draw a line. Imagine the line coming through the bus, but I'm not going to draw it, because then that would just be a waste of eraser. Okay, so this is going to be the road. Now you can see part of the road here, part of the road there, and then I'm going to make the road come out this way. So I'm going to angle it from the point down to the other side of the bus, give it some space on the left, on the right side, to make it look like as if it's traveling down this road. If I decided that I wanted to make, say, a building right here, what I can do is I can just close off the side here with a line that mimics the line that's here. See, this line is going to mimic that line, and basically I'm going to take my erasing tool and get rid of those 2 angle lines here, just like that. See that? Now I have my independent rectangular prism shape. Okay, and now I have the horizon line passing through my solid shape. So what I can do is I can take my eraser and get rid of those lines from inside my shape like that. So now it's an independent shape sitting on a plane of white, which is not a big deal because we just started drawing and we can add details later, right? So what if I wanted to make this some kind of like a coffee shop? Well, it's going to have some kind of eave in front of the doorway. When you guys make your doors and make anything else that goes off of your buildings or your cars, you have to make sure, or your bus, you have to make sure that it kind of goes with the angles of the shape that you have here. See, up and down. Doors aren't crooked, so you're not going to draw a door like this, right? It's going to go up and down, straight up and down. It doesn't matter if your building is slanting. If you have a door or a window, it's still going to go up and it's still going to go down. However, there is going to be some curvature to the actual horizontal lines. See, look at the bottom of the door. It's going with the building, but it looks natural because if you're looking straight at a building, you can actually see the building moving backward. It doesn't necessarily mean that the building is shaped like that. It's just the illusion. We're drawing illusion of it being a three-dimensional building, or what do you call it? Coffee shop. So I'm gonna add a couple of picture windows up here. This one's gonna have a couple curtains coming down. Okay, and this one you actually be able to see because there is a table and some seats on the inside. Over here, it's a business We know that businesses get dirty. Excuse me. So we know that businesses have dumpsters out back. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a dumpster right next to the building. Okay. So I have a trash dumpster here. Alright. So now we have a building. Let's see. I have to put a sign. So this is the cafe. Name of the cafe. Yeah, even if you want to, we can put a couple of planters, because you know, flowers and different kinds of plants do liven up a place, makes it nicer. Yeah. This shape up here, every time there's a shape up in the sky, always first thing I do is I make airplane, right? So the airplane's body, it's going to be actually kind of a little bit long, and you know airplanes are round, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it a rectangular prism for now, just so that we can get the shapes. Now if you look really good, because you can see the bottom and the side of this shape, you're going to not only mimic this line here to place here, but you're also going to mimic this line here to go here. So it's going to be like a backwards L, just like this is a backwards L. You're going to mimic that same shape towards the end of your rectangle. Now we have a rectangle floating in the air. Cool. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Alright. Now, this is basically how you're going to make your object above the horizon line. But like I was saying before, you know that airplanes are round. So if we try this whole exercise once more, and as you can see, because I was only sketching, my lines come off with ease. Very easy. Okay, looks good. So what I'm going to do is, if I want to make an airplane, I'm going to draw a circle, because the body of the airplane is cylindrical, right? It's like a cylinder. So there's my shape. I'm going to do exactly the same thing I did before, only this time, because it's a circle. Well, let's not get ahead of myself. Let me just show you how to do the circle first, okay? So here's your point, and here's your circle. Now where's the edge? You're thinking, well, the square, you can definitely see 4 edges. Circle is the same thing, however, because when you draw the line from the circle, you're actually going to go from the most outer edge of the circle, and you're going to draw from the dot straight to the circle. So it looks like that. And then once again, you're going to go from the dot, and you're going to touch the other edge on the other side, just like this. Draw straight to the dot, and now it's going to look like what is similar to that of the bat signal when Batman is called to save the day. Okay. So it looks like the bat symbol. No, 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 Batman. Okay, but no, let's not do that. All right, so that line that I was telling you about, how we came out and up to make a backwards L. Well, because this is no longer an L shape, it's more like a backwards C shape or a crescent shape. You're going to copy the same shape down here further on the object. So if you go around like this and make this croissant shape, just like that, that's all you have to do. Take your eraser, erase the lines leading to the point, and now you have a floating cylinder. Now, I mean, you can make anything with this cylinder. I mean, you can make a flying marshmallow. You can make bullets flying out towards you as, like, okay, so say there's a bad guy shooting at your character, and you want to make this cool one-point perspective picture of bullets flying towards your superhero. This is another way you can do it. But anyway, getting back to the point, we're actually making our airplane. Okay, so here's the nose of the airplane. Here we can see the base of the airplane, and then we're going to draw the cockpit. Okay, sketch that out. Okay, plane comes back. It has this big fancy fin on the back of it. Yeah, just like that. Has a couple of rear stabilizers. Yeah, stabilizer here and stabilizer on this side, but you can hardly see that one because it's going to be, the body's going to be blocking most of that stabilizer out. Okay, and then on the side, you're just going to draw a line from the top, have it going in the same direction from the nose of the plane down to the point. So just kind of angle that line, and you're going to imagine that there's one also on top of this side, but you don't actually draw it. Now this is actually going to be the wing, so it's going to spread out from the plane. On both sides. Alright, now you notice that the wing is actually blocking a lot of what we drew on the plane. So what? It doesn't matter. What you're going for is realism. Everyone knows that a plane has a rear fin and a plane has a backside, but we don't have to see it because we already assumed that it has these things. So even with the wing blocking out most of it, you have the knowledge that, hey, at least I drew it looking correctly. Okay, doesn't matter if you can't see the tail fin and I'm blocking a lot of my art now. Doesn't matter. It looks more realistic. You know, when you put your pictures and lay it out, sometimes you have your superhero here or your little character there, and when you draw them, you realize that, oh, they have a tail or they have some kind of other detail on them, and that detail is going to have to go off the page because you drew them so close to the edge. It doesn't matter. Just let it go. You guys, you have to learn that it doesn't matter if you can't complete the full picture. Don't squeeze everything in, because then you're going to make your character look ridiculous. With this, like, say he had a backpack on his back, and all of a sudden you're trying to get that backpack to fit on him while he's at the edge of the page, and you have this really tiny backpack. It's like, you don't have to do that. Just let the backpack go off the page. It's fine. People know that he's wearing a backpack, or she's wearing a backpack. No big deal. I'm going to erase the edge of my circle because you can't really see that front face on a plane, because the plane is very smooth. Okay. And then it has usually has a doorway so that people can get on the plane, and then has little windows so that people can see out the plane as it flies, and they can see the ocean or wherever they're flying over. It looks really cool. Below the plane, you're gonna have this thing in the front. It's gonna look like a little box. It's actually where the landing gear comes out, and in the back you're gonna have a couple more landing gears, so when the plane lands, it doesn't scrape the bottom of the plane, it just lands nicely. Okay, and then I'm going to put a couple of circles here, a couple of circles here. Alright, and these circles are also going to follow the same rule as going towards the point, so I'm going to put my lines here, just as we did at the beginning. Okay, that's blocking it, so I'm going to put that there. Put this here. Same with these circles. Point to the corner. Point to the corner. Point to the corner. See, I'm not going all the way to the point. I don't have to, because I know these are going to be my engines, and I know the engines are not going to go all the way back behind the plane. So all I need to do is just draw as much as I need. See? And now that creates the effect of it having these engines, and it's sitting on the wings the way it's supposed to, as if you're looking at the bottom part of a plane, because we're following that rule, that 1-point perspective rule, saying that, yep, this is where they would be, this is how it would be lined up. Okay. Alright, so we have our plane that's shooting out. Whoosh. We have our bus driving along, making smoke. Oof. Smoke along the planes. And we have our little cafe. We put a little smokestack, also creating delicious smell in the air. Yummy. I wonder what they're cooking this morning. Ooh, must be pancakes and fried rice. Oh, how delicious. So that's the smoke coming out of the smokestack. Okay, and then after this, you can start adding things like people walking on the side of the street, or you can put cats and dogs running along. You can put butterflies, a flower patch. If you guys want to put a part of a garden over here, just do the same thing. Use your straight edge and just draw a straight line going that way, and then match up with the horizon line, and now you have yourself a park, a place to put a park, or a place to put a bed of roses or some kind of flower patch there. That'd be cool, alongside the route. Yeah. So you can do whatever you want. Add some clouds, put the sun. I'm not usually one for putting sun rays off of their suns, but I guess I will, just for this picture, just so you guys understand what's going on. There. So that's how you do your 1-point perspective. Now after you're done drawing your picture, what you can do is you can take those pens that we were talking about earlier, you know, our Sharpie pens, and you can go ahead and outline them, just like what we did in our last video with the Minion. Just go ahead and outline everything with the bigger pens. Use the smaller pens for detail. Use even smaller pens to get even better detail. And even if you want to start adding some people, like you're going to want to do their faces and whatnot. And in a picture like this, a smaller pen would be more ideal to draw a face, because you don't want to use a big pen when drawing a face, because then their entire face will be blacked out with this thick pen here. So yeah, stick with the smaller pens for detail, the bigger pens for just the outlining of the shape. Even the horizon line can use a little bit of that thicker pen, love from the thicker pen, so that's cool. The last time we had class, I drew a picture in 1-point perspective, but I actually didn't get to finish it until this past weekend, which is one of the reasons why it took me so long to actually get this video out. So if you guys remember, I was actually drawing this picture of a city scene, and I have 3 jets shooting off of this city scene. Now, I told you guys to work with the paper this way, drawing the horizon line here, but what I did was I made my horizon line go at an angle. So actually my horizon line cuts across this way, and my point perspective was here on the road right here. And as I drew my jets and I drew my buildings, I used that perspective to give it a realistic angle. So all the buildings are basically in the place that they would be if there were buildings here. The jets are actually lined up with the point too, as if they were coming from the background, as well as the road is following the same concept of that 1 point, which was in the center of my my street here. So what I did was I just drew my horizon line this way, started drawing all my little goodies, and then when I finished, naturally it looks like a side perspective, but it's the same use of perspective as this. The only thing I did was I turned the paper so that the horizon line wasn't straight anymore. It's actually at this kind of angle, and you guys can start playing around with that, experimenting with those kinds of things, and it'll make your pictures more dynamic. You guys got it? If not, you guys can go ahead and rewind the tape, or go back to the beginning of the lesson and just try it again. Keep on working on it until you guys get good, because you need to practice in order to get better. If you guys want to start drawing cartoons better, you guys have to be drawing every single day, and I am a big advocate of drawing in every day. Just as long as you're not drawing in the middle of class. Don't draw when the teacher is lecturing you on math and English. Okay, that's it.
Please hang up and try again.